All right, here you have this chick right here. Her name is Kennedy. I guess she has no last name. Maybe she's like Cher or something. What have you? I don't know. She's annoying as hell. She has her own show called The Independents, and she contributes on Fox News and I guess other networks as well. But she's a libtard. She's a libertarian. She's just a leftist who hates taxes, in my opinion. But she gets the gold coin or the first place ribbon for interrupting folks. Like she's worse than Kanye with the interrupting people. She does that all the time on her show, which I can understand because it's her show, or she's the host of it. But she's on Outnumbered, which is not her show, and she's doing it right now again. But anyway, they were having a conversation on the Five about Roger Goodell and Ray Rice situation, and David Webb, a Fox News contributor, he simply made the radical notion. He declared that people shouldn't hit people. Period. Something that simple. And she didn't like that, so she had to interrupt him and go with the "you got to be careful here. You did it twice." Like she had to chastise him on air and tell him he's wrong and his opinion stinks. Right. Which further illustrates to me why men can't really be truly men and be a female ally on female issues, because if you come at it from a male point of view or male perspective, they're going to, and it doesn't fulfill their narrative, then you will be chastised right there and told why you're wrong and what you contribute to the conversation is invalid. Which is why I just think it's difficult for men to be male allies, as feminists like to call them. But this is she's a libertarian, whatever. But this is a non-leftist environment, yet there's still some heat from just logic and reason. No one should hit anybody. It's to the point now where I'm at is if the conversation about hitting folks and violence and all that, if the basic bottom barrel foundation of the conversation doesn't stem from no one hits anybody, male, female, sexual, racial, whatever, nobody hits anybody, right? If that's not the basis of the conversation, then there's no point even engaging in it, because it's retarded. Um, and it kind of like some men who don't respect women in leadership, don't respect women at all, being a part of the program or anything. It's like it validates their reason viewing the women like children, because basically what you're saying is that women are like children. They don't know what they're doing. They're just too emotional to tame themselves and act appropriately like a human being. So when they spaz out or get angry, they're going to hit you, and you just have to show restraint. And if that's the case, then that's exactly why men view women as children, because you can't be held accountable for your actions, which is ridiculous. Now, Webb said it twice. He simply said, let's not anybody hit anybody, and then that had to be a problem. Why is that? Why is it so radical? Why is it so hard to get over that basic, simple narrative? If nobody hits anybody, there's not a problem. But if she hits him, it is an issue, right? And then Harrison, the black chick, she goes on to say, well, the CDC says that 85% of domestic abuses are female. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. So that means that 15% of them are men. So you really think only 15% of men get abused? That's just only the 15% who actually admit they are being abused. And if I'm not mistaken, are these relationships with the 85% women, are they all heterosexual relationships? Because domestic violence between homosexuals are off the charts. So are you blaming, men for women who are in domestic situations where the beater is a female? Hope Solo, or what was that NBA chick who shot at her girlfriend not that long ago? Never mind. Yeah, so I'm like I'm really not gonna go with those statistics right there, because I'm sure they're flawed. I'm sure most men who are in that situation aren't reporting it to the CDC, and I'm not sure, but are you including statistics that directly reflect relationships between heterosexual couples? Are all of them, gay couples are thrown in there too? Because that would definitely unbalance the charts right there. But anyways, that's not even the point though. Like, even though if that were true, it still doesn't, break or tear down David Webb's argument. He still simply stated that no one should hit anybody. The wives shouldn't be hitting husbands. Husbands shouldn't be hitting the wives. And yet, for some reason, that idea, that notion is problematic. Why is that? If the conversation can't come from that basic, simple, process, then there's no point in having a conversation. It's just not. Because we all know that it just gives women the excuse to wild out and act foolish and take that risk. Yes, some men won't hit you back and they'll show restraint, but it's a new day and a lot of men won't, and they're going to hit you back. And you're going to learn the hard way. And even though the way the system is set up, we still get screwed, you still going to get knocked the freak out. And look at the situation with her and Ray Rice. Is now Ray Rice, they tried to handle it on their own between each other. They didn't want the media in it, and she's all like, "Yo, why don't y'all chill? And y'all all up in my business." So not only am I embarrassed by the world for what happened, but now my husband has no job to provide for me or my child. So it didn't just hurt. That's how you know that they use women like this as scapegoats and examples, and they get pissed off when they don't want to play the narrative. So there's like, okay, sure, you're not going to play the female victim, so we're going to make you a victim anyways. Same thing happened with Rihanna when she didn't want to play that narrative. There were all the feminist articles like, she's crazy or something's wrong with her. I think she is crazy, but, there's something wrong with her for the fact that she wouldn't want to play the victim and come on TV and pull the Evelyn, which is crazy because Ray Rice girl could have easily pulled the Evelyn and say, this man hit me, look at the tape. It doesn't matter what I did. If I spit on him or hit him, he knocked me the freak out. She could have easily capitalized off of that. She could have easily got paid off of that, being that she already has his kid. She doesn't have to marry him. So, I don't know, but that's kind of off the topic. But the point of the video is simply, how, just watching this conversation and these debates over from different, channels and different conversations, and everything keeps getting missed, right? The narrative that men shouldn't hit women because they're bigger or whatever and stronger or whatnot. Even though logic and reason would be, for me as a man, I wouldn't walk up to somebody twice my size and hit him and not expect him to hit me back. Yet it has to be something in a female's mind that's really gone to walk up to a man that's twice her size and hit him or spit on him while he's driving a bus with passengers on it and endangering not only his life but all the passengers too, and think nothing's going to happen in return. Like, come on. Something's got to really be mentally wrong with your mind. And I think these conversations give women, the justification, well, he ain't supposed to hit me back, not supposed to hit him. And I just can't bang with that narrative anymore. To the point where I got a video I'm going to work, and I didn't do it. I wanted to do it a long time ago, and I'm not going to do it on this channel. I'm doing it on my other channel. Some fembot came at me, and this one is on timeout right now. But it's going to be titled, "Am I Desensitized to Domestic Violence Against Women?" I've avoided making that video. Like, I wanted to make it like a year ago, and I didn't do it. But I'm going to do it now. It's not going to be on this channel. I'm going to leave a link to my other channel where I'm going to start putting more video responses on it over there. But I'm going to do that video because, it's just out of hand. It's crazy. The video is totally going to be politically incorrect and foul. It's just going to be keeping it real based on my experience and what I've seen in my life. And, why people, don't take situations as serious as they should. I think the pendulum is being swung way too far. Let's, have a sit down, have a conversation. But if that conversation doesn't stem from the narrative that nobody should nobody, then the conversation should be over. That's my video. Watch this, this Kennedy chick interrupt Dave and chastise him and tell him, you need to stop doing that. You're wrong. This can be a problem because you're a man and you're drifting away from the narrative, and you're supposed to let women hit men, and don't say that women shouldn't hit men too, because that's not the way the game works.
Many ways.
In reality, he's probably right. And I know people don't want to hear that. It's violence against women. It shouldn't happen. Violence, frankly, between men and women shouldn't happen in either direction. But Goodell's not going anywhere. Why? The NFL looked at this as a business. They decided not to ask for the tape. They could have done that. They thought they could get by. Now they're caught on tape. They're going to manage the crisis. They're going to go out and get people back to football. I know that's a harsh reality, but that's what it is. Now, they should deal with the violence issue when you have so many young, powerful, strong individuals who are literally testosterone-filled and out of control. Not everyone in the NFL. There's a lot of good guys in the NFL. Most of them don't go out and beat their wives, or frankly, to the wives out there or girlfriends, don't hit your husbands. But let's not pretend that Goodell for all his faux pas.
Yeah, I mean, that's the second time you said it. You gotta be careful with that line of thinking. It's dangerous, and it can be really insulting, especially to domestic.
Here's hit your husbands. But let's not pretend that Goodell, for all his faux pas.
Yeah, I mean that's the second time you said it. You gotta be careful with that line of thinking. It's dangerous, and it can be really insulting, especially to domestic.
Here's the reality. Nobody should be hitting a woman. No woman should be hitting a man. And Goodell's not really going to resign because they're going to manage it out. The NFL screwed up. Ray Rice is out. Vic was rehabilitated. All these things happened. They go through, and this is the reality.
Where Kennedy is trying to make the point here and throw some numbers at you. 85% of victims, according to the CDC, of domestic violence are women. So it's not really the same thing to compare men and women.
Well, I'm not saying it's a number. I'm saying it shouldn't happen in either direction.
Not really the same thing to compare men and women.
Well, I'm not saying it's a number. I'm saying it shouldn't happen in either direction.
Not really the same thing to compare men and women.
Well, I'm not saying it's a number. I'm saying it shouldn't happen in either direction.
And I knew if I hit them, I better be prepared for whatever blow was coming back. And I knew it wasn't going to be a sissy punch like what I threw. I knew it was going to be straight up 110% male punch, and it was going to hurt. So there you have it. My daddy even raised me and told me a woman should never put her hands on a man. And as I got older, he elaborated on that and said, you know, a woman shouldn't put her hands on a man unless she is prepared to get hit back like one. And I totally agree with that. Even if I wouldn't have been raised that way, I would still agree with that. I hated how women think that they're a protected class, that, okay, I can get all in a man's face and disrespect him, put my hands on him, and not expect for him to hit me back. No, if I get in your face and I hit you, I'm expect to be hit back. I'm expect you to knock the holy, you know what, out of me. You know, if I'm tough enough to buck up to a man, then I'm tough enough to take a punch like one. I know a lot of people will disagree with me about this, but I think there'd be a lot less violence, like domestic violence going on, if women would learn to keep their freaking hands to themselves. And I'm not saying all domestic violence is stemmed from the woman provoking the man. No, I'm talking about domestic violence as far as the woman's all in the man's face, disrespecting him, and she does hit him, but then when he hits her back, then he's the one that ends up going to jail. I'm talking about those situations. Like I said, if I ever bucked up to a man and felt I was big and bad enough to hit a man, and he hits me back, I feel like I would totally deserve that. And I actually would expect it. Like when I used to hit my brothers, you know what my reaction was? It wasn't like, what you gonna do? It was like this. I was like, oh, I know it's coming. Well, I know it's coming, you know? I mean, if more women had that reflex, then they probably would keep their hands to themselves. I just hate it that women do that and, rely on that whole, you know, idea that a man's never supposed to hit a woman. You know, I think they need to reverse that as far as a woman's never supposed to hit a man. I mean, that's disrespectful for one, you know, and it's just, you're going to provoke somebody and just feel like you're in this protective bubble that, well, he can't hit me because I'm a woman. Nah, he should haul off and knock the crap out of you, and he should not get in trouble.
Watch where you're going.
What's your problem?
Maybe you're my problem. You ever thought of that?
Crazy bitch.
What did you just call me?
Look, I'm not gonna hit it.